Welcome everyone to Nicola Valley Talk, a product of Experience Nicola Valley, featuring many amazing blogs written by many amazing people who know a thing or two about living in small communities. So while self-distancing in our homes, my guest and myself are broadcasting live, which we do every 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time every Thursday night. I am your host, Tania Stewart, as well as an eco-blogger with Experience Nicola Valley, helping promote our community, businesses, nonprofit agencies, musicians, artists, tourism, and our valley and our sister community, Logan Lake. So tonight, I'd like to welcome a very special guest. I mean, they're all very special guests. Oh, and before I introduce our special guest, I have a surprise. At the end of tonight's show, we are having a very special guest this year. But anyways, I won't say anything more because I'll end up ruining it. So I am going to bring in Ron Sanders as I am introducing him. Hi, Ron. Ron Sanders, our very special guest tonight, welcome, is the president of the Canadian Country Music Heritage Society and a founding member of its precursor, the Merritt Walk of Stars Society. For over 20 years, Ron, you have passionately led these organizations, helping to transform the city of Merritt into the country music capital of Canada. Ron, you are also the owner of two local companies, Sanders Contracting and Enviro Bridge. So tonight I welcome you, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know. And great for you and your wife for this technical difficulty and just being calm and cool and just like, okay, it's going to work out, right?
Yeah, you said it would.
So, Ron, could you please share with our audience who is Ron Sanders?
Ron is, I guess, passionate Nicola Valley resident. Lived here most of my life. Grew up with my four brothers here, and we all raised a pack of kids and had a lot of fun doing it. And in the meantime, we had a couple of businesses to run, and we did that. And that's my corporate side. The family side is we have a very strong family relationship amongst my brothers and siblings, and yeah, it's enjoying life.
And what better way to enjoy life than with your family and living in Merritt, the Nicola Valley. So, Ron, under your leadership, over 100 Canadian and international country music artists' handprints have been collected at the annual Merritt Mountain Music Fest. Ooh, that's a hard one to say. And added to the Walk of Stars inventory. In addition, your team worked tirelessly to bring many of these artists into the downtown to perform. And I remember I watched a few of those, and I might say some of the ones I'm going to mention. And at the 8th annual fundraising galas, including artists such as Keith Urban, Ian Tyson, Tanya Tucker, Johnny Reed, George Canyon, Michelle Wright. I remember her. I seen her. Carolyn Dawn Johnson, Brett Kissel. Oh, I like Brett Kissel. Lisa Brockhoff, right? Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And many, many others. It is easy to see why Merritt became recognized as the Canadian country music capital of Canada, of the world, in fact. I would put it even the world. So, Ron, can you please share some of the greatest moments of the Walk of Stars?
Well, the Walk of Stars is a long journey because it was 20 years almost now. It started with, we didn't start the collection of the handprints. It was one of the clubs started with one guy, and there was some ownership issues with the physical handprints, and the Rotary Club contacted me to try and put it together and do something with the handprints downtown. And took me a couple of years to get the possession of the handprints that were taken. So we weren't involved for the first probably 5 years. And then when we got it organized, then we went and got some funding from the federal government, and away we went. It was very rewarding dealing with these artists. A lot of real emotional feelings and passions with the artists themselves, and the I guess the spectators. But taking the handprints became it was very symbolic, and I had tears in my eyes a few times, and so did the artists. It was I don't know, it really was meaningful when they put their hand in that concrete and immortalized themselves. So, and that grew from the Music Fest. We were just on the shirt tails of the Music Fest. Claude and Diana were big supporters of what we were doing, and that kicked it off. And we got artists downtown, and we got them to galas, and there was a lot of music created, but a lot of interest, and with all that, it was yeah, good times, and very productive times.
And I do know, like, the emotional part behind that, like getting them to do that. And like, I mean, that's amazing. Is there anywhere else that has this been done other than, obviously Hollywood and Disneyland or whatever? Is there
Yeah.
anywhere else that you know of?
They don't physically take a handprint or a footprint or anything. They just create a star. One story that came out of what we were doing was Michelle and Amber were trying to get a grant from Gibson Guitars, and they gave them all our story, and Nashville started their own Walk of Stars. Right, just spun it right off of what we were doing. But again, they don't physically take the handprints, or they produce something, but it's artificial. Ours is the real thing.
The real, like, put your hands in and
Yeah,
just like,
get your hand dirty. Yeah.
and I don't know how many people must have walked by when they walked by the Walk of Stars and put their hand in to see if their hands fit. And it's quite surprising. Some of the men's hands are smaller than the women's hands.
Well,
Maybe it's good to play a guitar that way. I don't know. But even women's hands, I think it's just so neat because it's almost like it's more contacting, I guess.
yeah.
I'm sorry for steering off on that, Ron. So what plans do you have for the Walk of Stars? Where would you like to see the Walk of Stars in the near future? Where would you like it to go?
I guess we haven't had a music fest. There was a hiccup when the music fest went down for a few years and had to start up again, and so we had little less success when it started up, but Kenny will certainly support us on going forward, and we want to. Well, one thing, there's several things we want to do. We got plans to improve the ones we have downtown and maintain them. We have probably 30, maybe 40 handprints that are in the container that aren't on the street that need to be, if we're going to carry on with it, be produced in some form and get out on the streets. And then we'd like to continue bringing more of them in. It's when they're here in town. The difference with the Walk of Stars is they're international artists. We're not just limited to Canadian artists like we are with the Hall of Fame. So it's a lot more interest to a broader, I guess, group of fans to have the international ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be nice to get those ones out and stuff like that. Like they're going to waste, right? The ones that you still have that aren't out.
Right. We have lots of them. We got lots of good ones too that are, famous, younger artists that,
They're idle hands.
Idle hand. There you go, idle hand.
We got to make a productive hand, not idle hands. So, and in 2004, Ron, the Walk of Stars Society transformed the blank walls, many blank walls in the city of Merritt, into larger than life pieces of artwork. I mean, beautiful artwork created by Michelle. How do you pronounce her last name?
Lockery?
Lockery. Okay.
Lockery, yeah.
In the form of murals. These
Yeah.
murals not only featured country music legends, but they also helped raise millions of dollars for infrastructure projects while transforming the lives of over 100 young people, mostly First Nations, with valuable life and employment abilities and skills for their future. So another project which was another project you were deeply involved in, Ron, were the murals, I mean. What are the positives of this program that you're most proud of, or what's most memorial to you?
It was certainly a special trip to get involved with the murals. We at the time we had a very strong board with the city, the chamber, the CFDC, and the downtown businessmen. And a fellow named Rick Passmore was on our board, and he was did a lot of work alongside of me with getting this stuff going. And he contacted Michelle and brought her into town, and she came up with a brilliant plan to get the Native youth involved and get these murals on the wall. So between the artists and the kids and artists, I'm talking musicians, the singers, the famous people, and the politicians, everyone liked it. It was, I guess, it just kind of come together as a very successful project. And Michelle and Amber Popow and Robin Grebelinas were part of our organization then, and with Rick and the board we just had a lot of horsepower. We made a lot of friends with politicians and country music artists, and raised a lot of money, and it helped the kids a lot. It was truly a turnaround for a lot of those kids. Though it was successful from pretty well every angle. It was, and we had a lot of good events around. There was a lot of filming went on. There was a lot of press, and money was coming in to help support it and help make the square and the Hall of Fame, and so it turned out to be a very successful program.
Well, I agree, and I think to me, I mean, I did quite a few blogs on the murals and the Walk of Stars, and I'm kind of favorite to the Hag, Merle Haggard. When I was a child, I thought I was going to grow up and marry him.
Oh,
or him or Waylon Jennings. I could have, it would have been a toss up, but.
Well, Merle's at the Legion.
Yeah. Yes, and I just love. And whenever I have visitors from out east or Saskatchewan, wherever, they do the Walk of Stars, and they get their pictures taken, and then they take it back to their friends. And due to COVID, they can't travel, but there has been much a mention about people wanting to come out and get their pictures taken. Like
we had Tanya Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone waiting for 2 hours, but once we got her out of the bus, she was just the life of the party.
Oh, yeah.
We had the event. Well, we had two. One at the inside the Desert Inn, and one at the square where her mural is.
Oh.
And she had her daughter with her, and she started talking about how pretty it was, and she called it the Mural Project. So everyone had a good laugh around that. But it was again another very successful event that we had. That was. How do you don't get those kind of people dropping by without something significant to interest them.
not without a big hoopla and stuff like that. I mean, it brings it more down to earth, right? Like how you guys did everything. It made it more, I guess, more emotional and more sincere, I
Yeah.
would say. Ron, what people may or may not know within our community and outside our community is that you have been a major contributor to many programs in the valley for decades. Okay, and I'm going to read some of these. For example, Sanders and Company sponsored 1,000 high school bursary for many years. You were a major contributor to the building of the Merritt Golf Course, and I know you because you go golfing quite a bit, and have always contributed both time and equipment to the maintenance of this course. You and your brother Jerry were partners in the ownership of the Merritt Centennials Hockey Club at one time also. Ron, you give back so much to the community. And I want to say and ask, and could you provide why you like to do this? And I know it comes from your heart because I know you. And could you share with our listeners?
I don't. I think we inherited from our parents. Dad was spent a lot of time and money on the pool, the arena, the curling rink, the ball diamonds. It goes on and on and on. So it's been going on for 50, 60 years. So it's nothing new. We, I guess, enjoy it, obviously. And yeah, so it continues. We're always, if someone wants some help, then we're there to help if they ask. Well, they don't have to ask. If we think they need help, we can offer. So, um, but I put a lot of effort into the Walk of Stars. I mean, it's been a serious lifetime project for us. And, yeah.
Yeah, and you definitely have. And I also know, and I just have to mention this, as my partner Ricky Mervin here, along with like himself, his brother also worked for you for many years, and knowing this times that I mean that you were there for Ricky when he needed help, like for extra work or something like that. You were always there for him, and he also commendates on you that you are there for many other people. So salute to you,
Oh,
Ron.
okay. Yeah.
Bravo. There are many people, Ron, and I just want to throw this out there because I'm within the community a bit, but not so much now due to COVID. But when I first moved back here, there was so much praise about Ron Sanders. Like I kind of knew who you were and everything, than Sanders. But through the years, I have got to get a lot more knowledge of your family and such high respect due to the Walk of Stars, due to the murals, and due to all the stuff that you have volunteered your time and done for this community. And I have to say, you're one of the ones that stand out in my mind and in my eyes, as well as many others. There are many people who actually graciously talk about you, and because I do get a lot of people who talk to me, and a lot of people who wanted you to be on my show. They demanded it.
Oh, thank
They said, "Get Ron Sanders on there."
you.
Okay,
Thank you.
and you're welcome. So I just wanted to just put that in there for you. So Ron, you have never been one to settle. You know, you don't sit back and just let life go by. Always striving for more and more. And in 2009, you were instrumental part of the team in securing Merritt as the official home of the Canadian Country, pardon me, Music Hall of Fame. Back in the day, how important was securing Merritt as the home of the Canadian Country Music Hall of
That,
Fame?
was probably almost 3 years of lawyers traveling back to Hamilton, Ontario, Calgary, meeting, uh, negotiating. There was a lot of work to get it. There was the owner of it passed away, and Calgary wanted it. And anyways, it was a long trip to get it there. And I guess once we got it, it was another big event to get the funding. So we were very fortunate back in those years to get support from the provincial and federal government. We had a lot of support from the city as well back then, and Campbell and Stockwell. They we got large chunks of money when we needed it to build the handprints, the square, the murals, the Hall of Fame, and that took a lot of work all the way along the way to justify getting those grants and putting the plans together with. And again, that was my board, Michelle and Amber and Robin Gravelinas. We just worked endlessly to get all that stuff put together, to get the funding, to get these things off the ground. And that was also involved with the Hall of Fame. It was, that was a big project for us.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you're talking, I'm thinking about all these past country icons, country singers. Were
Yeah.
you around? Were you involved with George Jones?
Um, no, I
No.
wasn't physically. No.
Yeah.
He was here. He was here. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was here. Yeah, I was. Myrtle Haggard, I wasn't. I was involved with Johnny Cash, Anne Murray, Keith Urban, George. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost all of them. And what I don't know. I'm not I'm not a groupie. I don't think, but I like being around successful people, and for them to get to those levels, they're successful,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's different. I come from construction, which is hard copy stuff. When you're dealing with artists, you're dealing with airy fairy. It's a different realm of business, and um, it can be very, very enjoyable if managers aren't too snotty about getting you near. Other than that, the artists are fine once you get through the guards. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is so interesting. Well, why I mentioned George Jones because I was out here on a visit, and the favorite song is "I Don't Need No Rocking Chair."
Yeah.
So, that last question that I was asking, and that you never settled down. So I guess you're not on that rocking chair, right?
No rocking chair for me.
No rocking chair for Ron. No, that's
Um,
good. And thank goodness because we need you around. But that's for sure.
yeah.
Out there. We got to rock that wall, or
Yeah.
country rock that wall. Someone just posted that. Said, let me read this out to you. We have a little bit of time. Um, uh, says
We
said that, love how much Ron has done for our community. Wow, what a great community advocate Ron Sanders is. Let's rock the walk. That's what someone said. This is a goodie. These are people commenting to you about you. What a great story. Thank you. Oh, that was me. Miss the festivals. My favorite is Deanna Carter because she also did her footprint. Yeah. So those are some people that are just commenting right now.
The most memorable experience, for sure, one of the top five would be when we had Keith Urban's handprint, and I don't know if many people know this, but what we did when he had the handprints up, we would try and get the artists to come back and endorse them, and we'd have this official ceremony. And we caught Keith Urban on tour, and we convinced him to stop in town overnight, and we blocked off Main Street from the Royal Bank to the Chamber of Commerce, run our stage across the street, and had Keith Urban there, and Carolyn Dawn Johnson was touring with him, and we had our portable stage that Barry Jackson made along with our guys, and set it up. and he came down to his handprint, which is at Pharmasave, and yeah, I got to visit him in his trailer. But he's just a normal guy from a little town in the middle of Australia, and he really got related to the small town Merritt and the music, and that's where it all starts. It was quite an experience.
That is so neat. I mean, and then you guys, I guess you didn't have like to have the main street. Was there a lot of people? That's what I'm gonna
Oh
try to.
yeah, there's a lot of people. We had all our politicians were there, and we cover up the handprint, and we had the red surge there, the RCMP in red surge, and then when he's there and the cameras are running, we unveil it, and he hasn't seen it, right? He put his hand in a bucket of mud 4 years earlier, and we've got it bronzed and in granite in this beautiful John Boy's wood frame, and that's very again, and that's where I got tears in my eyes when we unveiled those handprints to those artists. They got touched. They were definitely. It was one thing when they put their hand in the concrete, but when they got to see them upright and they're, it was very moving. Yeah.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sad that I missed that. But so, Ron, looking back now on your long resume of community contributions and impressive record of volunteerism, what are the most proud? What is the most thing that you're proud of, and why? I mean, it can be an abundance of them. In short.
I guess putting the handprints together to start with was a big deal, big event, and then having the funding put in front of us from Stockpole Day to get it done was a big start, and so it was a kind of a momentous thing for us. Having the murals and the kids, that was very rewarding as well, and it just was very meaningful to a lot of people. Again, another event, Crystal Shawanda came in, and we had her do some stuff at the square, and she had a little private meeting with the kids there, and she's First Nations as well, and that really got me crying. It was like, so things like that all the way through this were when we had these presentations for funding in like the hundreds of thousands of dollars for getting the next step done was again very satisfactory for everybody that was involved. So there was a lot of rewarding moments through this whole thing.
And probably the most rewarding is what you give to the community, right? Like you're not that person to talk about the things that you have done to people other than to get something else done, right? You're not a boaster. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
No.
I think so.
You're a standby man, as my father says about you. That's what he says. So, Ron, before I let you go, because we're running a little bit tardy here, but before I let you go, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
I guess one of the things that I didn't mention, this whole project was from day one was designed to get people downtown. That was when the Rotary Club asked me to collect the handprints, they thought it would be good for tourism downtown, and so we tried to stick to that. And everything we did, we put a few handprints up at Tim Hortons and Canadian Tire, but we tried to and that was just to show people to draw them downtown. Then we put up that gateway that's downtown this way by the Petrocan, and that's I would hope that we could carry on with that to get the downtown core viable. It's not. And these freeways take away from downtown cores, but we have to get the downtown core. So we're happy with it. We go down there and have coffee and visit and do business and look at what we have downtown. So for tourists and locals, like when your
Yes.
aunt comes to town, you want to take her downtown, show you what we got, go for a meal, and
Yeah.
establish the downtown core.
Well, someone is shouting out Rachel Sanders. Brett Kissel's star needs to be put downtown. Maybe that'll help bring people downtown.
Yeah, Brett was he grew up with he was like 12 years old when he first started, and he stayed here at our house. He called us Mr. and Mrs. Sanders, and we he couldn't come to the events because he wasn't old enough to drink. So
Oh, oh my
yeah,
God.
so he had to stay here a few days by himself while we went down to the shows and that. But yeah, so he still calls us Mr. and Mrs. Sanders. So we can we can get Britt to do whatever we want. If we ask him, he'll come and do
Oh, well,
whatever
there.
we need. He will certainly accommodate us. So um, yeah, Lisa Brokoff, Aaron Pichette, Ian Tyson, they've all been here. Yeah, Prairie Oyster. Those
Yeah.
people that come to town and they get treated like they're in small towns. Michelle Wright, yeah. So we had a lot of fun.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Well, that's neat.
yeah, so Brett, we have handprint. We haven't put it up, but yeah, and there's money involved too with this.
Mhm.
We need more money. So in
Yes,
order
we
to
do.
do that, we're going to go back to work.
Well, I hope to think that we're doing our part in trying to get it out there to how important the Walk of Stars is and our downtown core, our downtown businesses, our artists, our nonprofit agencies, everything like that. Okay, Ron, I have to let you go. And what an amazing talk we had with you. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't know a lot of the things that we talked about, or you talked about, really. And just great to have you on as our guest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you want to stick around, I could talk to you briefly after I'm done doing this. Oh, actually, why don't you stay on with me, Ron? This is kind
Okay.
of an add in here. So,
Well,
my exciting news today or tonight,
I,
okay,
I hit.
is we just got a letter from the North Pole. It was a mail delivery. We don't know how we got it or where it came from, but it's a Dear Nicola Valley Talk. I am looking at my Nicola list, my nice list, and I see Ron Sanders is on there. It's Sanders Claus's list. Okay, and was so impressed at the efforts of the experienced Nicola Valley bloggers in bringing good cheer into the homes of Meritonians this year, and what has proven to be a very difficult year for keeping off the naughty list. Mrs. Claus has been reading the letters you have been writing to all of us on behalf of the children in the Nicola Valley and how they miss meeting with Santa because of due to COVID. Santa can't be going around talking with children and having them on his knee and stuff like that due to COVID. So after some consideration, Mrs. Claus and Santa, the big guy himself, and some elves have all decided to grant you and your merry band of bloggers an exclusive interview as well as some additional airtime for the children in the Nicola Valley to connect with all of the North Pole through a talk show. So, with the true spirit of the season upon us, your family, your fans, and your followers, sincerely, Santa Claus. Please, P.S. Thank you for your wonderful websites, experiencenickelvalley.com, experiencemerritt.com, as they have proven very handy when delivering gifts in the Nicola Valley. Isn't that cool, Ron?
It is.
We've had exclusive rights to Santa and Mrs. Claus and elves this year.
Oh, well, that's very gratifying. Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Because I mean, we're going to have children, although they can't go and sit on his knee. We're going to have them talk to him through letters and through video. So it'll be like being there with him, right? With Santa. And I get to interview him, so which is really cool. But
Yeah.
anyways, thank you, Ron.
All
Okay,
right.
and if you do want
So,
to, I'm
thank
just gonna.
Thank you very much, Tanya. It was enjoyable, and thank you to Experience Nicola Valley for their efforts. You guys put a lot of work into this, and Greg and you and Melvina and the rest of your gang there. Yeah, good for you.
Oh, thank you, Ron, and we appreciate it. So I want to say good night to everybody, and oh, sorry, and because due to time, I'm going to cut it short right now. So thank you everyone for joining us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time for Nicola Valley Talk, and our special guest tonight was Ron Sanders. And thank you, and I'll see you next week. And again, stay safe. And it's red nose season, so don't drink and drive, and like never do that at all. And thank you, and good night.